Here we have a very interesting story about a man that his character is being questioned. So here goes. I am maybe okay if my kid's mathematics teacher had 10 wives, as long as he have degrees in education and mathematics. What he does privately is his business. We shouldn't judge. And then we heard that back in his native country, one of his 10 wives was actually his own daughter-in-law, and another one was a 6-year-old minor he married when he was 51 years old. It was also rumored that he had people put down for disagreeing with him in the past. That changes the landscape, ladies and gents, jurisprudence or not. However, he is an excellent math teacher. Students gravitate to him, and even them ghetto boys are scoring all A's in their math exams. Well, meaning he is a great teacher then. Well, in that case, I might consider for my boys now, but not for my girls, because of his history with young girls. I don't want him teaching my daughters more than just math. But then, the school, due to lack of staff, now also assigned him to teach moral studies. Okay, now what do we do? So that is an interesting story, and I believe you know what is being implied by this story, right? So here goes my comment, which is 35 seconds ago when this video is being recorded. Interesting story. Just to clarify on some points. First, because he make this statement, right? On his own daughter-in-law. So I just want to clarify. Is it his blood daughter-in-law? Is it his own blood son's wife? Meaning that his son, his blood son, meaning his direct son, not adopted son, right? Or it was actually an adopted son. And was it adopted son's current wife, or was it adopted son's ex-wife? Question mark. Just to have the record straight, right? I'm asking this question because the framing of this, his own daughter-in-law, it implies two things. His own son, current wife, right? When you say my daughter-in-law, meaning my son's wife, not ex-wife, not adopted son, right? So that's the first thing that I have to clarify, because it totally changed the whole story. Second, on a 6-year-old minor he married. So this is the statement that he used in his story. Are we talking about living in 2024 in today's society, where kids go to school, have high school, go for university, and only then go into the real society and have job, etc.? Or we are talking about living more than 1,000 years ago in this society where people become an active member of society at a much younger age? Are we talking about now in 2024, where normal age of marriage is above 20? Or are we talking about more than 1,000 years ago, where such is still a norm, meaning that marrying at a younger age? Are we talking about a case of younger girls being emotionally manipulated into a relationship, for example, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc., and then the boy try to manipulate the girl? Or are we talking about involving the protecting parents that ensure the best of the daughter? Question mark. Right. So all of this question is with regard to this statement, right? So meaning, what is actually happening? Are you implying something or something else? And third, because the story also mentioned his history with young girls. Are we actually talking about young girls, i.e. lots of young girls, or are we talking about only one girl, which is the only one of his wives that is actually young? Because that's two different perspectives that we will have. Is there any young girls again and again and again, or look, there's only one, that particular one young, where the rest of the wives are not young? Because his history with young girls seemed to paint an image of a long trend that happened, because it gives you an idea that, oh, this guy have this trend, a prolonged trend that can mean that, okay, maybe that's his character in that way. While the only one of his wives that is actually young paint an image of an anomaly to a trend. Because if you see a man with a trend of all of his wives of an older age, except for one, that one is not a trend. It is actually against the trend, right? So the conclusion is different, just to have the record straight. So there are 3 points in the story that need to be clarified. And if you clarify these 3 points, the whole story, the whole image of the man changes drastically. On the question, because at the end there's a question, him to teach moral studies, right? Because the story says, due to lack of teacher, that man is assigned to teach moral studies. Well, if his track record shows that all his wives tell about him that he is an exemplary husband with good character in reality behind closed door, that is such an amazing opportunity to learn from him. I mean, any normal husband to one wife would have the wife able to tell many bad things about the husband, especially his character behind closed door, right? Any man that we know outside seems like a nice guy, good guy, but his wife will always have many stories to tell, about him in the house, out of public eyes, right? But for a man to have many wives that live with him in closed door, and every wife indicate he has a great character, even behind closed doors, that can only mean that his character is good not only in front of people but also behind closed door. And that's the end of the interaction as of now, because I made this comment just 35 seconds ago when we begin to record. Yeah, so that was my response to the story. Some information, if presented out of context or in a certain way to actually twist the image, can give you a certain perception, right? So you have to actually question, okay, can we clarify this point? Can we clarify this point? Only then you can have a more just, perspective. That's all I have to say for this video. Hopefully this is of benefit. Thank you for watching. See you next time.